On 29 March 2026, the Government of India made a payment of 4,971 crore rupees. There were no speeches, no celebrations, no headlines. With that single transaction, a debt stretching back nearly 2 decades finally came to an end. The twist? This government didn't create the debt, it only paid the last bill. Surprised? Because for 21 years, nobody wanted you to know this bill existed. Let's uncover the untold story of one of the most expensive political decisions in modern India. Let's go back to 2004. Crude oil was trading around $40 a barrel. Then, the world changed. $2,560, 2007 $90. July 2008, $144 a barrel. In 4 years, the price of oil more than tripled. India imports roughly 85% of its oil. We do not produce it, we buy it in dollars. When crude tripled, India's import bill tripled with it. But petrol pumps stayed cheap, diesel stayed cheap. The UPA called it protecting the Aam Aadmi to save their image before the 2009 Lok Sabha elections. But a sinister story was unfolding within. Let's understand this. Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum were buying expensive crude abroad and forced to sell cheap at home. By 2008, these companies were hemorrhaging, balance sheets destroyed, investment plans frozen, refinery upgrades postponed. Someone had to compensate them. The government had two choices. Pay them in cash, which appears in the budget and blows up the fiscal deficit, or hand them IOUs. The UPA chose the IOUs, commonly called oil bonds. Between 2005 and 2010, it issued oil bonds worth 1,48,187 crore rupees, with interest rates between 6.35% and 8.4%. Maturity 15 to 20 years. It was off the books, outside the deficit, and most importantly, invisible on election day. The bill wasn't cancelled, it was only postponed for future governments to carry.
2004 से 2010 के बीच क्या हुआ था? तब कांग्रेस सरकार के समय पेट्रोल, डीजल और गैस की कीमतों का संकट आया था और तब कांग्रेस ने देश की नहीं बल्कि अपनी सत्ता की चिंता की। उस वक्त कांग्रेस ने 1,48,000 करोड़ रुपए के ऑयल बॉन्ड जारी किए थे और प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह जी ने खुद कहा था कि वो आने वाली पीढ़ी पर कर्ज का बोझ डाल रहे हैं। ये जानते हुए भी कि ऑयल बॉन्ड का फैसला गलत है, जो रिमोट कंट्रोल से सरकार चला रहे थे, उन लोगों ने अपनी सत्ता बचाने के लिए ये गलत निर्णय किया, क्योंकि जवाबदेही उस समय नहीं होनी थी। उस बॉन्ड पर रीपेमेंट 2020 के बाद होनी थी। साथियों, बीते 5-6 वर्षों में हमारी सरकार ने कांग्रेस सरकार के उस पाप को धोने का काम किया है और इस धुलाई का खर्चा कम नहीं आया है। ऐसी लॉन्ड्री कभी आपने देखी नहीं होगी। 1,48,000 1,48,000 करोड़ रुपए की जगह देश को 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक की पेमेंट करनी पड़ी।
The heaviest issuance happened in the run-up to the 2009 Lok Sabha elections. The voter went to the polling booth in 2009, seeing cheap petrol, cheap diesel, and a fiscal deficit that looked under control. All three were true, but all three were incomplete. The subsidy was real, the cost was real, the bill was real. It had simply been dated for delivery for future governments to pay. And here is the sharpest irony of all. In 2003, during the tenure of the late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the Parliament had passed the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. Its stated objective, written into the law itself, was intergenerational equity, meaning one generation should not consume today and get billed tomorrow. The oil bonds were the precise opposite of that principle. 10 years in power, the UPA cleared just 13,764 crore rupees of that principle. Just 10% of the principal amount, while interests on those bonds are a different story altogether. 14 bonds worth 1.34 lakh crore rupees were left to mature after they were gone. By 2013, the consequences were visible to the whole world. India was being called one of the Fragile Five, a group of emerging economies considered vulnerable to any global shock, weighed down by high deficits, heavy dependence on foreign capital, and a currency in free fall. That inheritance landed on the Modi government in 2014, nearly 10,000 crore rupees in just interest payments, every single year for a decade. 40,226 crore rupees in interest was paid by the Modi government in the first 4 years alone. Not one new oil bond was issued under the Modi government. Not one. The instrument and this approach of fooling the masses was retired permanently. In October 2014, diesel was deregulated and freed from government price fixing for the first time in decades. The very structure that manufactured under-recoveries was dismantled at its root. The LPG subsidy was shifted to direct benefit transfer, cash into the citizen's own bank account, visible in the budget, auditable by Parliament. And in June 2017, India moved to daily dynamic fuel pricing. No more hidden gaps, no more accumulating IOUs. The interest of UPA sin was being paid year after year. And then came the big one, financial year 2025 to 26. 4th February, 22,000 crore rupees. 23rd March, 10,000 crore rupees. 29th March, 5,000 crore rupees. 37,000 crore rupees in a single year. And the ledger finally closed. 21 years, principal plus interest, close to 3 lakh crore rupees. That is 3 lakh crore that could have been used to build ports, highways, hospitals, schools, but was unfortunately spent instead on servicing the electoral convenience of the UPA Congress so that petrol prices could be kept cheap ahead of the 2009 elections to fool the public. What they now chest thump as cheap fuel was never cheap. It came with a dangerous hidden bill. They wrote the check. The Modi government paid the price for it. There are only two ways to run a country. You can defer the cost and collect the applause, or you can absorb the cost and finish the job. On 29 March 2026, India finished the job. That is the difference between managing headlines and managing a country.